the 30-day challenge for those of you who are interested about becoming and building greater confidence within, creating inner stability, creating just a better life for yourself by being more clear and confident and gaining better results. Now, results are interesting because people often say they want results, but they're not even clear about what results that they want to get. So for those of you who are new and are not aware, I started this challenge because when I looked back at my last year's YouTubes, and the common theme was people feeling alone, low self-esteem, and weak in the areas of confidence. And so this series is really, hi, hello, good to see you. Hi, Oliver. Hi, Tommy. Thank you for being here. It's been, Tammy, sorry. I said Tommy. Tammy, it's been way too long. So this series is about building confidence from within. And the commitment is that every single day, you are doing a conscious act of kindness from your heart. That means don't get confused with thinking that you're kind, okay? People that think they're kind are not the same ones who are behaving and acting from kindness from their hearts. Why do we want to do it from our hearts? Because this opens a portal and it puts us in alignment with unity consciousness and the principles of oneness, okay? So that's what we're doing. And if you want to magnify your field in alignment with kindness, you publicly share here in the comments, and or if you're watching on the replays, what kind act that you have done that day or within the 24 hours. So it's pretty simple. The people that have messaged me privately have said they've already seen a profound shift, and we're only on, I think today's October 6th. So I started this, Tammy, on the 1st, and it's not too late to join, because I promise everybody will have results, but what those results will be determined by you. Why is that? Because you are the one who is the knower and seer of your experience. I can tell you what experiences and results that I get from being kind from my heart, but what you experience might be different from your perspective. We are all on this amazing, unique journey called life, and we're in some pretty chaotic times. And so if we want to change the world that we're experiencing, because we're a co-creator, we have to be more kind to ourselves, more kind to others. And I just share with you, I just made myself a beautiful iced latte. I'm so proud of my iced lattes because they are so delicious. And I thought I would need a feel-good drink because nobody has really been joining me on these lives. So I'm happy to see you. I will also say, just as a side note, I don't have to say this, and then I'll get into the topic about getting results. But as I started this series on kindness, my views and everything is completely dipped. So the algorithms are not always in alignment with the principles of one. Okay. I don't take it seriously. I don't take it personally. I do see it as a data point that, kindness isn't always valued. But it's not about what other people value, it's what you value. And I come on here all the time when I'm doing a video. My intention is really clear. If anything that I say can help anybody align more within, then this whole time I've been doing these videos is worth it. Okay, so today's topic is about building confidence and getting results. So building confidence and results. So I will say the first thing that I see that people fail at is they think they know what results they're going to get, but they're not clear enough, and they don't even know what it is that they're doing. And so therefore they're not confident because they don't know where they've been. They don't understand where they've been. They have a story attached to where they've been, but they don't have clarity about where they've been. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. And so get clear. If you want results, you have to get clear, and you have to be willing to see those things that are not easy to see, the uncomfortable truths. So that also means that you can't deny things. So results often require that you delve into the shadow realms of work and yourself. And if you are perceiving the shadow as negative, meaning negative is not as good as positive, then you're missing out on gaining real confidence. And when I say confidence, that is a knowingness within yourself. It's not a thinking thing. You know, too many people are stuck in their heads and they think they're kind and they do things that are unkind. They ignore, they avoid, they deny, and that's not an act of kindness. So we want to be in the practice of aligning ourselves to the principles of oneness and kindness consistently from the heart is how we're going to practice that and see at the end of 30 days what happens in our life, how we change. Now, what is required is commitment and a listening. So results vary based on your willingness to see things from a unique or different perspective. So somebody might perceive something as a failure. And I would say it depends what your perspective on failure is. So if you are unwilling to see failure as a learning opportunity, then it will continue to be like the anchor that you're dragging around. It's just going to weigh you down. So if you made a mistake, be okay with saying, oh, I made a mistake. That was a poor decision. If you're not even willing to say that, I had a conversation with a friend today that said they didn't like the word mistake. I don't care what you call it, but if you're not willing to say that something was a mistake, then how can you learn from it? How do you learn? If you're not willing to see a failure as a failure, and again, the failure changes the moment you bring consciousness into it. So it's not like you're labeling it and it stays like that forever. No, because as you become more aware and bring kindness to yourself and the situation, the results change. Now, getting results is one of my favorite things because I like things to be clear, crystal clear. But if you're not clear, it's going to change how you perceive results. Now, I could see that you're getting, so like, for example, if somebody were a client of mine and I am clearly seeing that they're making progress, is that results? Well, that depends. That depends on how the person is perceiving it. So for clients that are wanting to make money, for example, and they say, oh, Kiana, I'm coming to you and I'm coming to you because I want to increase my business and my flow. Well, that happened. This is actually a true life story. That happened with a client and they stayed on as a client, but the focus shifted from their business to other areas. Now, that doesn't mean that the business went away, but it did mean that their attention shifted. And in business, like life, because it's an extension of you, there's going to be an ebb and a flow. Where your attention goes is where energy flows. So can you have your attention on everything all the time? No. But if you are willing and to be committed to seeing and doing a regular review, you will see patterns emerge quicker and faster than those people who don't track or do results. Now, I'm not a tracker in I am. I like to track things, but that's just because that helps me stay consistent and committed. But it's not necessary for results. What is necessary for results is clarity. You cannot get results without having clarity. of even knowing what direction you're going. So clarity is about going in a particular direction. Now, I used to love working with the most dysfunctional teams that were missing all their marks. I loved working with them because it really doesn't take that much time or energy to get clear. It's just that people do not practice the fundamentals, and the fundamentals, nobody wants to play with the fundamentals, but those are what creates results. So what is results? It's going to be around your clarity, your mental focus. What are you focused on? Do you know what you're focused on? Do you know which direction you're going? Or, do you just hope for the best? I had a chat with somebody earlier today that was talking about they've been working with somebody for 2 years, a year, I don't even know. And they didn't get the results. And I said, oh, okay. Well, what were the results that you were looking for? And they weren't articulated. And I asked the question like 4 or 5 times. Now, that doesn't mean that the person was wrong. I think they already knew their data. They just didn't like the answer. So results are not about liking or disliking. It's about data and direction, okay? Just like failure is not anything other than a data point. It's a perception of time so you can adjust and move. Confident people adjust and move regularly. People who with low self-esteem, they keep perceptions that keep them quote unquote safe, where they won't get hurt. I don't want to know this information because I may not like it, or it's negative, or it might hurt my feelings, or I might not like it. That's a closed system. Confident people don't work within closed systems within themselves. They are open. So you want to be more open and willing to see. Again, seeing does not mean that you're in agreement with it. It just means that you're seeing, you're observing, you're willing. That's what that means. Okay, I'm going to take a breath. So good. Okay. So, how could you take building more confidence and results and make it applicable? Number one thing is, what direction are you going? It's super simple if you're involved in a system. Is that Martin? Hey, Martin, thank you. I'm doing good. So, the number one thing is to get clear on the direction. Why is it good to track? So you know where we're going. What is it that you are focused on? If you want to be healthy, what aspects of health and discipline are you focused on? If you want to make money, what aspects of focus and discipline are you focused on? If you want to be healed, what aspects are you focused on with healing? One thing with healing that I will say is that our limited belief systems, most people don't want to look at. And that's also what directly impacts results. Limiting belief systems. Why does that happen? Because people don't check their beliefs. Because once you touch on somebody's beliefs, guess what happens? The ego goes into action and wants to defend the current reality. The mind wants to just keep status quo, status quo, status quo. You never expanding, always either staying the same or contraction. That's what works well with the ego, okay? Now, most people do not know how to create conflict that works in their favor. First of all, getting clear on a direction requires writing it down. Writing down where you're going is like a love note to the universe. If you're not writing love notes to yourself in the direction you want to go, how can you check to see if you're moving in that direction? So I always tell my clients that start, when you invest in increasing your consciousness, material things will start to manifest much easier. okay? But telling people that investing in consciousnness is going to get them something, then they start to think, well, if I invest in my consciousness, I'm going to make more money. Well, it may not show up in money. It might show up in exchanges that are beneficial. It might show up in ways that you don't expect, but it always shows up. So, what else can I say about building confidence and results besides clarity, besides dedication? So there must be a commitment. Anything else about results? Results for like groups of people or families are often different. So get agreement on the direction. So if you're with your partner and you and your partner have different ideas about what results look like, you'll want to get clear on that result. What are you guys in agreement to? Same thing with teams. If you're working with a team, and this is why I liked dysfunctional teams, because they were all just doing their own thing. You know, independent operations is what everybody was operating off of, which is so easy to correct when you just get some common agreements. Because once you get people in agreement, they'll move in the direction that you've agreed upon. But they don't always do that on their own, do they? Because when we're on independent operations, we're just operating off of our current state, whether that's happy, sad, clear, or disorganized. It's just going to be whatever they want. So getting clear about the direction, getting clear about who's responsible for what, always very helpful with teams. Does that bring confidence? No. What brings confidence with teams is knowing that they can collaborate and work together and get to an end goal that they didn't think was possible. So having clarity in goals is very helpful. And I do have a program on here free, Careers in the New Paradigm, where I talk about goal setting and so forth. But to get more confidence and get results, if you did something in kindness from your heart, it would get you greater results in your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual bodies, because it'll put you in alignment with this principle of kindness. And kindness is a fundamental principle of oneness, okay? So what have you done that has been kind for another, that was from your heart? That doesn't mean buying things, although it could. Doesn't mean giving things, although it could. It could be doing something for another. It could be sending a kind note to another person. It could be just being present for another in need. The key element here is not thinking kindness, it's being the kindness from your heart. I can't stress that enough. So many people are thinking kind, but they're not being kind. So be willing to be the one who's in your heart, listening to your heart. So I want to share real quick some notes that people have sent me about this process so far. Number one, they were surprised at how quickly that when they did things for kindness, that they were getting kindness back. Like it was showing up really quickly. So when you are focused on kindness, things will come really quickly. So you will manifest quicker, faster. Just got to deliver it. Okay, so why is that? Because you're unattached to the outcome. When you're unattached to an outcome, you will get better results because you're willing to adjust. What was I saying about the closed systems? Closed systems, people do not adjust. They judge. They judge negativity and positivity as good and bad instead of just data points or points of interest or curiosity. So be curious as you listen to your heart. Okay? I'm just going to check. Any questions about that? No questions. Okay. Well, this will be a short video then today. So the challenge for all of you is to go do something from your heart in kindness. Okay. And then to have it magnified, come back and post on this video in the comments what one thing you did to be in service to your family, friends, your environment, your world. And post on here what that one thing is so we can start to amplify that field for yourself. And also sharing is caring. As you share those good things with people who are also doing the same thing that you are, it magnifies the field. So we want to magnify kindness for everybody who's participating in this challenge. And yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for paying attention, participating, being kind, and doing this for yourself. Being kind for yourself. Being kind because we need a world that is filled with grace and kindness from people who are operating from their heart, for sure. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, and sending you all lots of love. See you tomorrow.